Good morning, beautiful beings. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to just touch on something for this video. It's something that I forget all the time, actually, and I see the frustration in the people that I work with as well. Now, this came to me after often I hear the same narratives, the same stories over and over again. Sometimes it syncs with the moon, but it shows me that we're all going through this collective experience. If I hear a story once, that's fine, maybe twice, I'm pretty intrigued. But sometimes it's like 5 or 6 times a really similar situation or a similar reaction to a situation. And I know that that is calling me to learn more about it, to apply practical tools and knowledge and work through my own experience to find ways that I can share that with my clients and with you guys as well. So one of those things I wanted to discuss and possibly put out there, and maybe you guys have had a similar situation as well, is that when we get to a point where we want to heal something, we get to a point where we've had enough basically, and we want it to be done. Our intention in that moment to sever the connection either with a memory or an issue or a pattern or a thought form can be enough to release it. Sometimes it can be, right? Or if we go through a really big healing experience, whether it's with a plant medicine or through sickness or through a really big ordeal in our lives, that can also welcoming that closure from a pattern. But what I find is the tools that are needed to start changing lots of old subconscious programming, they're not a one-off decision. They're not a one-size-fits-all fix-it mechanism. They're a practice. And as a practice, we assimilate them into our lives and make them part of our daily habitual program, right? And this is important because subconscious programming really runs a lot of our day-to-day unconscious stuff. For example, so if you have had low self-esteem, low self-worth, and self-critical tendencies for, let's say, 10 years, right? You've been beating yourself up for 10 years. And that can be actually a really beneficial process, even though it's super uncomfortable to go through, because you learn a lot about that relationship with the self. But if we want to change your self-esteem and change your relationship with yourself, we go through a clearing process. And that's what I do for a lot of people, is we clear away the charge. And we can do that through soul retrieval, through entity clearing, through soul contract clearing, and a whole world of other processes that suit the situation. But then with that clean slate, imprinting a new self-esteem doesn't just happen because we've cleared the old self-esteem. It really takes applied effort and tools and practice to get that self-esteem really imprinted. And the idea that, okay, that's cleared, I'm done now, everything's going to be sweet and I'll never have to do that work again. Sometimes that happens, for sure. Sometimes we're just so ready. Other times we start our own imprinting process. We rewrite our subconscious programming and we have those tools ready to go. In case something falls apart, maybe we get triggered, maybe there's a big event, maybe something feels like it used to, maybe a substance just gets us just for a little bit, something like that. We have those tools ready. We again clear out and we start imprinting. Another practice that is often mistaken for a simple decision is forgiveness. Now, again, a lot of people can say, I forgive this person and that's it. That's miraculous, that's beautiful. But usually forgiveness, like self-esteem and many other practices, are exactly that. They need to be focused on reinforced, used daily, if not regularly, so that that process becomes part of who we are. Just like gratitude. Saying I'm grateful for my day and my life on one day makes you feel great. But if you really want to cultivate deep gratitude that is consistent, and if you want to find gratitude before you seek out other disempowering emotions or behaviors, then gratitude needs to be practiced. The more you practice, the closer you get to mastering it, and the more accentuated your results are. But even if you just practice it regularly for days, weeks, years, you're still going to get closer to cultivating that in your life. The same can be said for confidence, motivation, passion, intimacy. These things really have to be part of our daily or at least weekly lives in order for us to bring them in as a massive part of our life. Because how long do we spend practicing disempowering emotions, self-criticism, disempowering narratives about who we are and what we've done and where we've been? How long do we spend beating ourselves up for things that are in our past? I mean, we've practiced that for a long time. We've practiced self-sabotage. We've practiced shadow work. All of it. So now it's time to practice what we want. Start the new imprints. Create a new blueprint for our own personal evolution. Tell ourselves what we've always wanted to hear over